Hello, 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 theatre fans! Welcome back to another episode of Theatre Tea Time. I'm Isaac.
And I'm Ryan, and this week we are talking about bootlegs to film or not to film. But before we do, we just want a little announcement. From Monday, we will be going bi-weekly at 8 p.m. GMT every time, or same time as it is normally wherever you are watching.
Yeah.
So it'll be from Mondays and also Thursdays as well.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Spice up quarantine a bit. Not just once, but 2 streams a week. So there's a nice little spice up there. Right, so as mentioned, the topic today will be bootlegs. So we're just going to start off by sort of, what is a bootleg?
What is a bootleg? Isaac, do you know what? Tell me what a bootleg
I'll
is.
tell you what a bootleg is. I will say that a bootleg, well, at least so I know, is an illegal recording of any sort of, in the theatre world, a theatrical production, whether it be a play or a musical, just something where they say photography or video is not allowed, and, you sneak in with your little, camcorder or your little iPhone or your iPod, and you just try and get an illegal souvenir of the show back, where you try and record the whole thing.
Yeah. And then people take these bootlegs and they'll either give them around, put them on YouTube, sell them to people, or trade them. So we're going to be talking a little bit about trading bootlegs as well, and the rules around that. Well, I say rules. Like, what trading...
how they circulate, you mean?
How bootlegs get around.
Exactly. Right, so where do we start? Should we start off by the making of a bootleg, which is, I'd imagine, quite simple. You walk in.
You walk into there.
You walk in, camcorder, snuck under your coat, and you're just like, hope the front of house don't see you.
Hope the ushers don't kick me out.
Yeah, hope they kick you out. And then I suppose the lights go off, and then you're just like, I'm going to film this, and it's going to be brilliant.
You watch bootlegs as well? Have you?
I am guilty of watching a few, and I'm sure you must have at some point as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure
everyone has.
A lot of people definitely have watched bootlegs.
I think if someone says they've not, they're lying.
Definitely.
But Isaac, tell me, how do you get these bootlegs?
How do you get them? Well, there are a number of ways to get them, I'll have you know. So, where do we start? I'd say the main one, obviously, YouTube. You could literally, I'm sure these days, go into the search bar and type in Hamilton bootleg or waitress bootleg or Hamilton slime tutorial even. That's the code word nowadays. That's how they stop the YouTube algorithms from detecting them. They normally call them slime tutorials, or they say definitely not Hamilton, or this is not Hamilton. And what they typically ask the viewers to do is, rather than like the video, they ask to dislike it, so that YouTube doesn't sort of detect it, and it goes right under their radar.
Yeah. I've read that in comments before. That people are like, oh, why are you all liking this video? Or they're taken down.
And they'll comment things like, oh, on like a Be More Chill slime tutorial.
Yeah.
Oh, this slime took over my brain.
Or I misunderstood this part.
Exactly.
Suddenly now I've got a supercomputer slime in my head.
That just reminded me. On the subject of, I was just thinking about Be More Chill. That I think I sent you that video. There's a video on YouTube where somebody was watching the off-Broadway production of Be More Chill in the, what's it?
Was it the Broadway one at the Lyceum?
It wasn't at the Lyceum, no. It was at the Pershing Square Signature Centre, the off-Broadway one. And they were in the front row. And to be honest, I don't know why you'd film a bootleg in the front row. Like, that's just stupid to begin with. But it was quite a bad view anyway, because they were filming upwards because of the way the stage was presented. And, well, they got until about the opening number. And then after that, the lights sort of blacked out, and there was a scene change. And Will Rowland, the actor who played Jeremy,
the end of More Than Survive, isn't it?
Yeah, More Than Survive, the opening number. And then after that, light blackout, scene change. Will Rowland, literally in that scene change, walks up to the woman in the front row and goes, "Put that away right now." And had to break character.
It was do you know what? I watched that. You obviously said that to me. It was the most stressful thing I've ever watched in my life, because I can't imagine going to a theatre. You've been to go to the cinema with me, to watch a show, and I'm there with my phone, and I spend half an hour making sure it's off.
Yeah,
I do, genuinely, I sit there pressing the off button to make sure it doesn't turn on.
It's even just having your phone in it, while a show's going on. Like, we had that with Dear Evan Hansen, didn't we? We went to see Dear Evan Hansen on Broadway one time, and
at the Music Box, isn't it?
At the Music Box, yeah. And there was just literally, I don't know if Americans have like a different. Because you wouldn't get that in a West End theatre, would you? Everyone's
you would, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Because I suppose today we'll go into a little bit about theatre etiquette as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because that's kind of the same. But this woman, she just sat there the whole time, like turning her phone on and looking and checking.
I know.
It was the most annoying thing in the world. And we were sat behind her.
We felt really cocky, and then the lights went down for Act 2, and then we just said, I really love it when people turn their phones off.
Yes, I hope everyone turns their phones off for this show. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I think she got the hint, hopefully.
Yeah, she can turn it back on, I don't think.
Don't think so.
It's so annoying, though.
But right, so yeah, bootlegs.
Go back to bootlegs.
So let's think. So we talked about, obviously you go in and you try and get a little glimpse of theatre magic. But obviously there are different reasons why people watch bootlegs. So for example, let's start with the general audience members who, I don't know, let's say you live in somewhere like Spain or, I don't know, Brazil or some country where theatre might not be as prominent as it is in New York or London.
And we're watching like a bootleg of Hamilton London.
Exactly. So they might be into the soundtrack. I don't know, just from knowing it around, I know how soundtracks can circulate. So they might be quite into it, you never know, especially since there was the whole Hamilton and Puerto Rico thing. So people of different nationalities could, partake, because obviously it was spoken in a different language. So people... Obviously, the word gets out about these things, and there are people in different areas of the world who would find it very difficult to access them. So bootlegs provide that little glimpse of theatre to people who live far away from the West End or New York, or people who can't afford to.
I think there's exceptions when watching them is all right. I think if you're watching a bootleg, I think you should only watch it if you can't watch that show.
Okay.
For example, if it's already shut, or if it's in another country and you will never get to see it. If you have the opportunity and ability to go and watch it, you should.
Definitely.
Because otherwise, because people say bootlegs are going to be the collapse of the theatre industry. But if anything, I think at the moment they're keeping it alive.
Definitely.
Because I think when you watch them, it builds up more hype for going back and watching more again.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But then also at the same time, you lose that theatre magic when you watch a bootleg. For example, like if you see it in an auditorium, like the technical elements, like the lights, it hits differently in real life. Do you know what I mean? And on
you're
bootlegs,
not there and experiencing it, are you?
Exactly. And this is a very specific example, but then when there's a scene change or something and the lights black out, you won't see anything because it's the ways your eyes adjust to the atmosphere. But then when you watch it in a bootleg, you'll see all the actors walk on and get into their positions, and it kind of ruins it a little bit.
And you see everyone's head popping up and down, and then
exactly, and you hear
you have the moment where the camera, they're watching the camera, lights towards me, they put it down. But I think that's when it's all right. If you can't go and watch the show, for example, I watched not all of it. I watched bits of Back to the Future. Bootleg the other day.
Yeah, that's quite a hard one to get your hands on.
Did you see the car?
I did see the car. They used I think there was a company in somewhere in the UK that actually made prop replicas of it, and you hired them out for conventions. So I think the theatre actually went up to them and said, "Can we buy one of your DeLorean time machines?" And they were like, "Okay." But yeah, that was bloody amazing. I did see that.
Yeah, because if you don't know it, there's this moment. Buy tickets if you can.
Well,
but
we can't because it's shut. Because all theatres are shut right now.
But there's this the moment when he goes into the past, to get 88 miles per hour, and then it's amazing. And then right at the end, like before the curtain call or after, I think it is, they do the roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads, and the wheels come over, and it's incredible. Brilliant.
That's the thing. It's a shame. I really did want to see. I love Back to the Future, the film, and I would have loved to see the stage version.
Yeah, we were going to go, weren't we?
We were. I mean,
we had a plan to get up on a train to Manchester.
To justify the 4-hour train ride
to watch Back to the Future.
Go up to Manchester and watch it. Blimey, but no, I did really want to see it. It might come to West End though. That is a rumor.
That is the rumor. Yeah. Right. So, bootlegs, watching them. So people get them on YouTube and stuff. Tell me, Isaac, because you know a bit about this, and I don't know as much. What's a not-for-trade bootleg?
Well, do you know what? I did a little bit of research into this, and I was quite... I don't know. I did try and actively seek out a bootleg for the Be More Chill London cast, because it was after we went to see it, admittedly. Yeah, and
it's shut as
well.
And
it was after it shut, and I did really want to, see what it was again. So I did go on Reddit, and Reddit is quite a prominent place to look for bootlegs. You can type in anything, and there'll be a link to a Google Drive or a website or something. So I went to Reddit to see if there were any, Be More Chill London cast bootlegs, just to see, just to see what it was about.
As you do.
Exactly, as you do. So there were video bootlegs and audio bootlegs, and you can guess by the name that some of them is just the audio and some are just the video. So there were some audio bootlegs that had gone around, and they were already in circulation. And then I found out that there were video bootlegs. However, they were NFT, which stands for not for trade. So I looked into that because I was sort of a bit interested. And not for trade means that whoever filmed the bootleg basically has, I think, sold it or either given it to somebody on the condition that they don't trade them or circulate them after a specific date. So
no, so like until that date. So
until that date. Yeah. So I checked Reddit, and it said that the not for trade expiry date is the 13th of July. So that's less than a month's time anyway. So yippee.
So why?
What do you mean?
Just so why do people want it to be not for trade until that date?
I
thought it was like because they can't get in trouble past that date.
That's the thing. I'm not entirely sure. It might be because, but then again, they normally have the date of the performance.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't get.
With the date of the performance, you can still get in trouble.
Is it? I think maybe it's to up the value of them because
it's more wanted.
There is a sort of very small economy going on with these bootlegs. Yeah. It's like with the newer shows or the more limited shows that they'll want to keep under wraps in trade for other limited shows. So
and use it as like a bargaining tool.
Exactly. So they did that for Beetlejuice when it was in the Winter Garden. I think when it had just come out, and I remember somebody went against the rules. Yeah, and they just uploaded a clip, and it had, "This is not for trade. Do not upload this anywhere." So I think after the not for trade expiry date, that's when you're allowed to trade it for maybe slightly more common bootlegs, and then put it online to services like YouTube.
Because then you have some people have not for trade bootlegs, but they just can't. They can say we'll trade it for another not for trade bootleg, but they can't trade it for something else.
Exactly.
Or just a small shit.
Exactly. It's all up to the the decision of whoever filmed the bootleg, because obviously there are some people who film bootlegs and just put it straight onto YouTube.
Because I've seen some not for trade bootlegs of I think it's Waitress.
Oh yeah.
On YouTube as well. And I watched that. I'm like, okay, bootlegs aren't right, but this person went out of their way to do this. So you should, at the end of the day, respect them.
Definitely. Well, some people, bootlegs, on the subject when we were sort of saying why people might watch them, it's not just audience. Actors I have seen do enjoy bootlegs. Like, who was it we saw who was asking for bootlegs or something? Oh, was it Carrie Hope Fletcher who said she enjoyed...
Oh, no, I thought you were saying that. Something else. No, Carrie Hope Fletcher, if you don't know who she is, she's a West End actress and YouTuber. And she's been doing like what they call like morning vlogs, and evening ones where they sit down in front of the camera and she sits with Oliver Holmes and just talks about what's going on, what they're thinking about certain subjects. And she was talking about bootlegs the other day, how she said the same thing. They're alright if you can't see the show if it's shut, because it's not going to do any damage to their profits then.
No.
And then it's also, people watching, they're still normal.
Exactly.
They're a normal part of theatre
that was it. She said something about how she enjoyed watching the Heather's bootlegs. Was it?
Yeah, because that was closing night. That bootleg for that.
So obviously that holds a good memory because it's closing night, and
it brings back memories.
Definitely.
Do you remember we did Guys and Dolls a couple of years ago? No, a bit ago.
Yeah.
And that we had no license to film it, and someone bootlegged it. Bootleg.com.
They had the
because there's the other thing for actors. It's distracting.
Definitely, I'd say so.
Because if you've got a little flashing light in the audience, you can see them. So it's not like there's a wall in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we did Guys and Dolls, and there was this woman in the aisle in the middle, just with her phone just sat like that the whole entire time. It's the most off-putting thing.
Do you know what?
They're the most off-putting audience members I've ever seen. That was another one.
I mean, I remember that because I remember that was during Act 1, and then the director came up to me because I had to there was a raffle at the interval, so I had to go up and present that, and then the director said to me, "Oh, before you finish, just clarify that photos and video should not be taken. There's a woman in the the 6th row. So glance over there. So literally, I just remember looking in the 6th row, and I was just like, and remember, no videos or photographs of any kind. And then
did you look right at her?
I think I did. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I gave her a little.
I remember you did that one show, and you know the one I'm talking about, because if for context again, you played Benny.
Yeah.
And you and one of the ensemble went up at the start, and they were selling like raffle tickets in the foyer in the interval.
To win like a cheap bottle of Prosecco for like
or something, win something, or like chocolate or whatever. So you went up at the start of Act 2 and went, "Hey guys, do you wanna the raffle prize?" Yeah, and then you pulled out someone's name.
I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say.
You pulled out someone's name, and pulled out some. I pulled out
like
name.
I was like, yeah, it was a random. I said like 256, number 256, and a voice said, "Yeah, that's me." And literally, you know when you just
say
the
lovely old doll over there.
Said, we got a lovely old doll coming down here, and then literally, oh my god, I didn't know what she looked like because the spotlight was shining down on me, so I just couldn't see in front of me. This figure walked towards me, and God forbid she was an old woman. And there's me thinking, good Lord, I've called an old woman old in front of about 300-400 people, literally.
Not even just an old woman,
an old doll. So I'm like, oh my god, that's my career over.
Because they went straight into the hotbox scene. Yeah, that was so funny. I've had seen chat, so let's pay attention to that.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Human Visitor back again.
Welcome back.
Nice little regular. Thank you once again for joining. He says, the other question is, do you think it's worth watching any of these compared to a professional recording of a stage play? In truth, I don't know that I'd even enjoy a recorded version of a stage play, since the whole point is to have the live experience of seeing theatre. Now that's interesting because, for example, we've got the Hamilton Pro Shoot coming on Disney Plus on July 3rd, and obviously there are bootlegs of Hamilton that exist at the moment. So while it is, that's a good one. It's because
when it's a pro shoot. Okay, so I think there's difference. You got bootleg, you got seeing it live, then you got your bootleg, which is your dodgy camcorder, and then you got pro shoots. See, I see pro shoots more as films. Because if you watch the Newsies one, I think it's on Disney Plus, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it was on the BBC the other day. If you watch that, it's literally like a film, and they shot it like a film. So you kind of watch that and go, oh look, it's like filmed in the studio kind of thing,
Yeah, and then I also sort of build on that. I also think that maybe they film it in a way that gives you the full experience. So, for example, something like,
because you're right up on stage going across.
Exactly, like the Les Mis stage concert. If any of you have watched that, it's so if you go and see it in a theatre, obviously you're in one seat and you've got one view of it. And if you watch, I don't know, like the recording, they've got about 5-6 different cameras like panning across and going up and down. So you really do get the whole view of everything up close and personal.
See, I think the best thing with the Newsies one is the fact that it's. Have you watched it?
I have not. It's a bit guilty.
Right, that is guilty. Get off. What are you doing on it?
Yeah, I'm going.
But with like the Newsies Pro Shoot, it's because it's filmed in a way that because it was filmed over 7 days, I think, instead of just the show and like extra bits. So there's literally parts just up on stage, and you're literally there, and it's like I see it as more as a film filmed on stage.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because that's how you watch it. But I think it can't... It could... I was going to say it can't live up to watching it live. But when you've got something so up close and so detailedly made, it's a different experience than watching it live.
It's certainly different to watching it live. When you watch it live, you pay for a very specific experience. And that's even the whole... travelling to the theatre, going into the theatre, getting a bottle of Prosecco or champagne,
getting 100 quid,
100 quid champagne,
snacks, whatever,
50 quid Maltesers, all that jazz. But it's so it's a very different experience.
Okay, would you rather then say Hamilton?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh no, you've seen Hamilton. What's the show you haven't seen? Let's say Heathers. All right.
Okay.
Say you really want to watch Heathers. Would you rather watch a pro shoot of Heathers? Or pay like 15 quid and get the worst seat in the theatre?
Ooh, okay. Okay, honestly speaking, I'd go and see the live version first because every live show is different. And, because it's the fact that it's live, anything could happen.
Yeah.
And that's part of the ambiguity that you pay for, sort of thing.
And it's exactly what Human Visitor kind of just said there. A major production will obviously shoot it with multiple cameras, professional audio, and then be edited together in a nice, polished final piece. I don't know if they'll ever be the same. Seeing anything live, you're getting a more... I can't say that word.
Visceral?
Visceral?
I don't know.
That word. Human performance. Because then it's real, and it's...
It's real, and and they're in front of you, and it is real, you know.
It's the difference between, like, watching a polished diamond and then, like, a rough diamond. If you get what I mean. No, that's like a really bad metaphor. I was thinking that's going to make so much sense, but now it just seems stupid. No, it's like watching the same thing every time, isn't it? But when you watch it, someone like I watched Waitress one time, and someone threw a tray up at the end and dropped it, and you're like, you wouldn't see that normally. It's more of the experience, and you're there.
That's the thing. So yeah, when you watch a pro shoot or a bootleg for that matter, you are watching effectively the same thing over and over again. But if you go see
someone else's filmed experience,
exactly, you're watching somebody else's theatre experience, which is much more watered down because it's limited to a little screen. But the thing is, if you go and see a show, I don't know, like for whatever reason, if you want to see it twice in a day, no two shows would be the same, no matter how minimal the difference is. No two shows would be the same.
Also, what was I going to say? But do you think you're going to get? I was going to say something, but I don't remember what I was going to get. Yeah, I was going to say, is it going to be a better experience though?
What, watching a bootleg or?
No, watching like a pro shoot, that's incredible and amazing. Then to get in just sitting behind a pillar. Are you actually with it then? But then again, it's just the idea of it's not the same.
It would never be the same because, you know, you are sat there and, you know, you are interacting because you're clapping and you're cheering.
Yeah.
And that does make a big difference to sort of clapping behind a phone screen or like a, you know,
just
a TV
thinking,
screen. You just look
really
a bit weird.
Good. Lying in bed.
Just like...
Go on, Heather Chandler. You're doing brilliant. Yeah. Speaking of Heather Chandler, should we get into our little midpoint show?
Our little midpoint show, care to tell?
A little bit early. Today we decided, last week, we normally do theatre confessions. Last week we did underrated songs in not overrated, but popular musicals. Today we're talking about overrated musicals.
Ooh, okay. Throw them at us.
Right, I don't agree with some of this list.
Okay.
Number 2 on the list of 45 is Hamilton.
Ooh, okay. So they're saying that's overrated.
Yeah, they're saying Hamilton's overrated.
I think, well, personally, okay, I'm gonna start right at the back by saying I think it deserves all the hype it gets. You know, some people might believe that it doesn't live up to it, but it certainly deserves the hype because since Hamilton, you know, there have been very little shows that have had things like, you know, multiracial casts and, you know, especially the story of it about an immigrant who comes from nothing and he becomes a founding father.
And it's relevant, isn't it?
Yeah,
even though it's 1800s or whatever, it's the most. It's very relevant.
It is timeless, and I think that's what made it so popular. And I think it's going to run for a long time.
I feel like it's like the next Les Mis.
You know what? I would agree with that statement. Who created the list? I don't know. Who did create the list?
This list is from liveabout.com. I just googled it. Top one that came up.
Okay, all right, fair enough. We'll go with it.
Here we go. Number 2 was Hamilton, and then number 15 was Les Mis. Overrated.
Ooh, now that's the thing. I don't think Les Mis is over. I think originally, at a first glance, people might think it's overrated, but then once you get into it and you understand it, then you.
Because right at the start of it, when it's in the Barbican, it was underrated, wasn't it?
Oh, it was heavily. People immediately slanted it because they thought it was too depressing. People thought there were no such thing as a sad musical.
Yeah.
But there we go.
There we go. It can't be underrated. It can't be overrated because it's still going and it's still really, really good.
I know. How long has it been? Over 30 years now, isn't it?
Yes. Is it 35 years this year? In the West End?
Yeah, it's its 35th anniversary this year. I think it was 8th of October, 1985, which is also my birthday, except not in 1985. But yeah, so 35 years it would have been since the first.
Wow.
Right,
here's one I agree with.
Okay.
Grease.
Ooh. Now, here's the thing. At the time where Grease was released, I think it was...
Yeah.
I think
at the time
it did deserve the hype it got because I remember like my mum told me a story of when, you know, she was about, I think 14 or 15 when it came out, and she went to see it with her mum, and it was like a feel good. I think Grease back then was maybe something like La La Land was for us. I don't know, that might not be the best analogy, but
Great Showman.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a better one. Grease back then was what Greatest Showman
was the big
like.
thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, Greatest Showman was the big thing when it.
But
when
now
it came out.
we've moved on and we've got things like Grease, but better.
Exactly. Well.
Blood Brothers is 22.
Ooh, now that's the thing. A lot of people, I think, skim over.
I think it's underrated.
I think it's underrated. A lot of people skim over it because it's not a big Broadway production. It started off obviously in a small theatre in Liverpool, and then it sort of grew to West End for a bit. But I think a lot of people, they just, because it's not a big West End or a big.
They're like,
Broadway
it's not
name,
got a high budget. It's not
high budget. There's no fly system. There's no blah blah blah. Yeah, all that.
Here's one. Okay, here's another one. Number 7 on the list, which I would never in a million years even think overrated. Like when someone says the show to me, I just think it deserves what it's got, because I don't think what it's got is amazing, and I think what it's got is right.
Okay.
Kinky Boots. I don't see how that's overrated.
People, I think,
because it's quite niche.
It is actually, isn't it? I mean, it's got the music by Cyndi Lauper, which obviously branches out the audience a bit more to fans of her. But I remember I never gave the soundtrack a go until I remember I went to see it at the Mayflower in Southampton. Yeah, and so it was like a few days before that I listened to the soundtrack, so I like to have an idea of what I'm seeing. And the music, I won't lie, is very catchy, and it is it's not boring at all. It's very flashy, very dancey, and I'd describe Kinky Boots as a feel-good musical, and it's definitely, it is for a mass audience. It's not, I mean, it's for people. I understand what you say when you say it's like a niche thing, for like it's a whole story about identity. But it was
a niche show made for a mass audience.
Exactly, yeah. It's for a mass audience, and I think it's very feel good. It's very sort of big, flashy, dancey, and it's a musical experience, and it's one that I would go see again because I actually really did enjoy it.
I didn't get to see it. I only watched the pro shoot. But I never would have thought that is overrated. Like this person also put Footloose on the list.
I don't think I've seen Footloose.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't like this list.
It's not very. It's
no. I just don't. I don't know if a musical can be overrated. Can a musical be overrated?
It depends. I suppose it's different for everybody, really, because everyone has different opinions.
Going back to the Battle of the Fans, our Week 2 episode. But I think everyone has their own different taste. Definitely. I think that's the best way to leave our little mid-segment on overrated musicals.
Yeah, it's always going to be subjective. That's right.
Yeah, because it can never be everyone loves Hamilton, someone's going to hate it. Someone's going to hate Les Mis and find it
exactly.
Really
they say if you've got haters, then you're doing something right. So,
Yeah.
There we go.
There's our little midpoint show. Let me get my list back up because it's
get your little list of
my phone.
Yeah, so we don't have too many more awkward silences.
Is watching them wrong?
Did we touch on that? I think it depends. Like we said, it sort of depends on what your circumstances are or who you are. I think it is different because also people who exploit bootlegs for money, for example, monetizing them on YouTube.
Right.
That is what sort of,
or selling them for money.
Exactly.
Trade them, I don't have a problem. But if you're trying to get money or someone else's work, then that's just just wrong, isn't it?
That is, in a way, stealing, basically.
It's like me stealing some of your, or like copying some notes that you've done for work or something, and I'm copying them and I sold them on to someone else.
Yeah. Oh, that is a good analogy.
That's a good analogy. I'm just full of great metaphors tonight.
I know, we've thrived.
I'm like a rough diamond being
a rough diamond. Yeah, like a diamond in the rough, and like a shiny diamond.
A shiny diamond I am. But I was going to say something else. Should we move on to a little bit of audience etiquette?
Yeah, that's fitting. Go on.
I heard. Okay, what about bringing food in? Because I've heard stories of people who've come in to watch a show and brought themselves a Big Mac in, like 2 Big Macs in there, sat there and eating it, or brought out
God.
a tray of sushi and sat there and eating it during Les Mis.
I think it's got to be stuff that doesn't make noise and doesn't smell.
Yeah.
So, you know, chocolate, fine. You know, crisps.
The answer is no.
No, not even crisps, actually. Yeah, definitely no.
Just, if you want to eat something, there's an interval. I don't think I've ever eaten anything in a show. In the cinema, it's different because you're encouraged to.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever have in a show unless it's ice cream.
Yeah, but then again, you know,
that's silent.
I think everything they do sell in the theatre, it's very minimalistic sound. So things like, you know, packets of sweets, they don't rustle too much. It's only if you get a packet of sweets, you're like trying to. That does. If people
bring sweets, do you remember we used to go on theatre trips with our old school and college.
Yeah.
We used to get, if you're going to bring sweets, bring them in a little cup so you can just sit there and hold them. I don't have to listen to you rattling packets about.
Definitely.
I was going to say something else. I keep forgetting everything tonight.
It's all right.
I haven't written loads of stuff down.
That's okay. So, yeah.
Sweets, phones, coughing.
Ooh.
Coughing. The most annoying thing. If you need to cough once, this is how you do it.
Yeah, or even like you could dampen it by just going.
Yeah. Whatever. But no, people.
Yeah, I don't get why it has to be.
And once one person starts coughing, it's like a year 2 assembly.
Oh.
One person starts coughing, everyone starts bloody coughing.
Yeah, but maybe they see that cough. That's the thing. They see the cough as a you know, as a way to quickly get a quick cough out before it causes like a massive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just makes it worse. It's just a massive sea of
coughs. Les Mis. Oh, do you know what? I watched Les Mis. Audience were awful. This is the new West End one at the Sondheim Theatre. Empty chairs and empty tables.
Oh, no.
Everyone was coughing throughout the whole thing. And I'm there trying to watch Harry App sing his little heart out. Everyone's coughing. I'm there like, you know, what are you all doing? And then, oh, my friends, my friend. Someone's phone goes off.
Oh, my God. It's just, like, what's so bad about... I mean, thing is, right, okay, if your circumstances are like so dire that you have to have your phone on in a theatre, why go and see that anyway?
Yeah.
You know, if it's that important, then just don't go see the show. Save that seat for somebody who does want to go and is dedicated.
Yeah. Loves that. But yeah, just people's phone. I think people. It's like the Dear Evan Hansen story again. You know,
just
or people
phones.
Chatting. Or we watched the play Equus.
We did. Oh,
do you remember this?
That was intense.
The play Equus, if you don't know it, the end of it is this...
Are you going to try and describe the end of Equus?
I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm not going to go that much detail. But this kid, Alan, who's had mental problems, the professor, like, psychiatrist, Dysart, basically now kind of starting to cure him, and it's that moment of silence when they're going, it's okay, Alan, it's going to be okay.
And it's like the final dramatic monologue before
as
it
he's lying, like, naked on stage. And it's that final moment, the most dramatic monologue, and everyone is silent. Like, you hear, it's one of those moments where you could hear a pin drop, and everyone's just listening to him, like, breathing. Someone's phone goes off. It breaks the immersion and ruins the immersion.
I know. And admittedly, you know, you might make. I do remember actually. There have been times where I don't know, for whatever reason, my phone had turned on in my jeans pocket, and I think that's because it was like pressing against like the edge of the pocket, and it was enough to activate the.
What? And it just turned the light on.
And you know when you just feel the phone vibrate, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, like the ringer.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the amount of stress I get trying to turn my phone off at the start of every bloody show or cinema.
I will say though, there was a time, I think it was when we went to see Be More Chill, I wanted to film almost the whole Bells. So I knew when the show would end, like I knew what the final song was. So I was just watching the final bit, and then I had my hand like by my pocket, just ready to turn the on button.
Whip it out and
I was like, right, 3, 2, 1, on, and I just wait. Okay, phone's on, film the Bells. There we go. Because nowadays you are encouraged to do that, and I think that's the thing. People, you know, might just film the Bells, but that's the thing. They give you permission to do that.
It's that whole social media, getting it on social media.
Yeah.
I'm just reading this about theatre etiquette, what people like to see. But first, let's speak to human visitor, whatever.
Yeah.
Here's my etiquette question for you both. You go see a show and you're genuinely not enjoying it. Do you skip out at intermission or do you stay and finish Act 2 out of respect?
I don't think there's ever been a time where we've left a show halfway through. I don't think so. It's always been...
I can think of a time we wanted to.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But we stayed, didn't we? We watched Macbeth at the Globe. It was the Globe Theatre. Like,
great experience.
Big old famous one. It was amazing. We were sat, like, stages here, and we were sat kind of above it, looking down in the gods, the stage.
Yeah.
And it was, like, amazing watching it. It was the most boring thing I've ever watched. Like, we got to the interval, end of Act 1, which is like 2 hours long.
Yeah, it was so
long. You turned to me and went, well, I think there are quite a few
inaccuracies. I thought there was a lot of inaccuracies in that And
I just turned to you and go, Isaac, you know that was Act 1.
And honestly...
That was the moment we were like,
heart sank.
Do we just go?
Yeah, we were like, do we just go? But no, we stayed for
you got to stay.
For the next 2 hours, out of respect, I think.
If you just find it boring, you've paid for it.
You paid for it, and
just go deal with it. Or if you find something that's like, if you were a Mormon, right? This is not a metaphor. Another metaphor. If you were like a Mormon,
all right,
and you went to watch the Book of Mormon.
Okay.
Don't know why anyone would.
No, I don't know why either. But
let's say someone's told you it praises Mormonism about how good it is. But you know why it does? Praises Mormonism. Not in a good way.
No, it is a story about belief and how it can make good things. So.
But let's say you go and watch Mormon, and you sat there, and you like that's the moment I think. You could probably get away with leaving at the end of the interval. But if you're sat like front row, or like front 6 rows where we can definitely see you, actors can definitely see you on stage because you're obviously lit, and you get back from the interval and you're not there.
I think it's at that point, I suppose it depends. Are you giving into your sort of religious side, or are you giving into your respect for theatre? So there's a bit of a scale there.
That's the thing. Lots of people don't have respect for theatre. They just go to see this one show. I know someone I know went to see Jersey Boys, the new tour, like last year, and they left at the interval because they didn't like it. They didn't like some of the actors in it.
That's it. I remember going to see Jersey Boys, and the funny thing is, I mean, it is quite an old show. I don't know, when did Jersey Boys come out? It was...
I shall tell you.
Go on.
You tell her your story and I shall find out.
Alright, so I just remember going to see it at the Mayflower in Southampton, and I think, I was quite excited to see it because I do like a bit of Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, you know, quite funky. So, I didn't know much about it. I hadn't listened to the soundtrack. Well, you don't really need to if you know about the Four Seasons.
2005.
Really?
Apparently first performance on Broadway.
Now that puts a bit of a weird spin on it because there wasn't a single person apart from me in the auditorium aged under about 50.
Yeah, because it's an older show, isn't it?
Yeah, but 2005. Okay, maybe it's about...
But it's 1960s music. 1960s pop group, the Four Seasons, isn't it?
That is true. Okay, so maybe...
So it's all about... The oldies are going to be like, oh, I love Jersey Boys, let's go and watch that.
Maybe, yeah, perhaps. People are also like that with Blood Brothers, because that was in the 80s, wasn't it? But
it was set in the 70s.
70s, 80s. It's not, and I remember going to see that, and also people, you know, there weren't many younger people in the room, which, you know, I do think, because apart from, you know, for people who don't live in England, we do study Blood Brothers for our English exams in school,
or drama.
Or drama. Yeah, some do English, some do drama, but we look at Blood Brothers in school. So normally that involves a trip to the theatre to watch it actually being performed, but that's about the only young audience that goes to see Blood Brothers, which I think is a shame because it is a really good musical.
Does have quite a young audience to the point from that, and then everyone else there is quite old.
But then again, I do think maybe it's an older audience because of the actors who are playing it. Like I went to see it with Lynn Paul, who apparently was one of the most acclaimed actresses who played Mrs. Johnston, and this was like, I don't know, her I want to say like 20th something time playing Mrs. Johnston. I don't know. It was definitely, she played Miss Johnson loads of times.
She played Mr. Johnston enough.
Yeah, she played it enough. And she was like, "Oh, this is my final tour." She was supposed to be doing another tour, by the way, this year before COVID and everything. So it wasn't. But
a bit of selling tickets.
Yeah. So she was quite an acclaimed actress. Yeah, stunt casting, exactly, which we talked about in our
one of the episodes. I
don't know.
Don't know which one. One of them.
Yeah. So maybe it does come down to the actor that's in the role, or who features in the show, that gains in maybe some of the older viewers who might be a bit more familiar with his or her work. So maybe that's the reason.
Yeah. Going back to I've forgotten it again. What's wrong with me tonight? I need to write myself down. Going back to Audience Etiquette.
Yeah.
I just remembered a story from when I watched Waitress another time. Mm-hmm. So I watched it 3 times, not because it's my favourite show, just out of fate. I ended up watching it 3 times.
Okay.
It's not my favourite show. I watched it, and there's this guy sat in front of me, like diagonal in front. He's on the very front, and he's a bit loose and tipsy. And at the end of She Used to Be Mine, obviously the biggest song in the show, everyone goes to see that, or most people go to see just that song. Mm-hmm. At the end, he gets up and just stands up and cheers, and everyone else is sat down going, "Whoa!" But it's just this guy in the whole of Delphi, which is like 1,000 seats, whatever, stood up cheering, a little bit drunk. And then at the end, when it goes back into the scene and like everyone stopped clapping, he goes really loudly to like the person sat next to him, "That was bloody brilliant! God, why did no one else stand up?" Like so loud. And we were
then again,
like,
I suppose if you're an actor, that's brilliant to hear. You walk off stage after what you think was probably a really good performance,
straight into
and you
hear
someone go, "That was bloody brilliant," and you think, "Thank you, I know."
If I remember, it was going straight from She Used to Be Mine into like some sort of scene or something. But something else was happening on stage at this point. And it wasn't just the first time. He shouted like throughout the show.
Oh,
like,
did he?
Stuff really loud, like, "Oh, that was really funny, wasn't it?" Ha ha. Or throughout the whole show. And then he just did, "That was bloody brilliant." Everyone looked at him, like in the whole row. And it's that distracting audience. Have you ever, as an actor, as a young thespian yourself, have you ever been on stage and had an audience member distract you? Apart from that time that person was bootlegging our show.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you've got things like friends or family come to see a show, that's always like a seed in your mind that thinks, okay, don't screw up because you're doing it in front of your friends or family.
Where are they sat? Yeah,
exactly.
You have a little look. Everyone has a little look.
It was like definitely when we did Les Mis recently. The way we sort of staged it was that Javert and the constables stand on the stage where all the convicts come out from the back of the auditorium and they walk on. So it's just for that. I'm just sort of looking over the audience. Yeah.
Just to explain, we've got a stage and then a big catwalk that goes out.
So it's like a big thrust coming from out there.
And we've got the revolve on stage and stuff like that.
Exactly. So I'm stood on the stage, and at this point, the doors at the back of the auditorium haven't opened. I've just walked on, and it's for about a solid minute or two during the prologue. I'm just stood there looking over the audience, and then I'm just like, shit, I've seen my mum, oh my god.
And then you just see them looking up at you, going, "Go on!"
And I remember just seeing my mum's face. She was sat there like.
See, I had that because I was at the front of the chain gang as Valjean, and we were doing like a little march to get up, like we're pulling the boat in, or whatever. And I'm walking down the aisle, and like people I know are sat on the aisle, and they're just going like, "Oh, look, he's there," and stuff like that. And you're like, I'm not Ryan. I'm Jean Valjean. Don't talk to me. Showbiz has said, "I once saw a musical on Broadway where a performance was so incredible there was a standing ovation after the song was performed. I've seen a lot of shows, but that was the only time I saw a standing ovation mid-show." You
know what? I have heard instances of that. It was when Be More Chill was closing on Broadway, and I think Michael in the Bathroom. It was almost every song. More Than Survive got one, I think, because it was the opening. But Michael in the Bathroom, which makes sense because it was the song that kick-started the whole, like revived the whole franchise because people saw that song.
It's the biggest song in the show.
It's the biggest song in the show, exactly.
And like when we went to watch it. When we went to watch it, when Michael in the Bathroom comes on, everyone goes, "Oh, it's that one!
It's that song! That song!" And so I think it was the final show. It got like at least a minute standing ovation, and when you think about it, on stage, that's a pretty long time. So it's definitely nice when that
What's
happens.
this comment coming now? Let me just read that. I think it's
Poggers, put a poggers in the chat.
Poggers.
Oh well. Right, back on the subject. So standing ovations mid-show. Yeah, that's
the only time I've been in it, apart from that one guy stood up, was a concert.
Oh yeah.
Of Lucy Jones's concert.
Okay.
And she stood up and said she used to be mine at the end of everyone stood up and gave her a clap. But that's a concert. That's not exactly a musical.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen a time when everyone mid-show stands up. At the end of Act 1, there's been times at the end of Act 1 you get a standing ovation.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like mid-show.
Definitely. Although, that's the thing. At the end of Act 2, I mean, have you ever been to a show where there's not been a standing ovation?
Yeah.
Really?
I watched Amelie. It's good. I like the music, but I thought it was really boring. I was sat there just going, I don't know what's going on, because I didn't know any of the music, I didn't know any of the story or anything. The music's really good, obviously, and all the actors are incredible, and the set was amazing. But I sat there the whole time going, this is so boring.
So did nobody stand up at the end then? Was it?
There might have been like a couple, but it was like one of those times that it's only a couple people stood up.
Okay.
When most people sat down.
Fair enough.
And what about audience interaction then?
Because, in what way? Because there's different sort of.
When is it all right for an audience? We're going on to etiquette a lot tonight, but it's kind of mixing.
Bootlegs are,
so carry on.
Yeah.
When is it all right for an audience to get up and sing along in a musical setting?
No, that's the thing. Oh, was it in? There have definitely been musicals where. Wait, did they do that in We Will Rock You? Because I think that they say to sing along or something. Or
no, before you go in, there's loads of posters which say, "We know you all are little Galileo and Scaramouches, but please don't sing along."
Oh yeah, they say please don't.
But
sing.
there's shows where you have moments of. I've been to a couple. One is Anne Juliet in the West End. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen it, go watch it because it's really, really good when we're all back in theatres and everything. But they do Backstreet's Back, alright, that one. And everyone's there in the audience doing that.
Oh,
and
lovely.
Stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And everybody, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To get everyone singing. Or with I think Joseph, Grease do it. I want to say Hairspray, but they don't. I don't think they have. I was going to say Mega Mix.
They do that in We Will Rock You. I just remembered because Galileo, I can't remember what scene it is, but he goes up to the audience and he goes way-o.
Yeah.
And then we all go way-o, like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Did. Anyway.
So. At Live Aid, didn't it? But they have at Grease and Hairspray. They have not Hairspray. What's the other one? Joseph. Grease and Joseph. They have at the end a board come out, and in Grease they do girls, boys. So girls go, summer love and happy at last. And everyone says, summer love and happy so fast. And you sing Summer Nights. And there's loads of shows like that. Joseph do the go, 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 Joseph, do, I think.
They did that they didn't do that exactly. In Kinky Boots, they did have, obviously, the actors beckon the audience to, clap along. And they did, the whole... So I did that. So that's
clapping's annoying for an audience sometimes because most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, unless they've been told, they get it wrong. And especially British audiences, I have to be honest.
It can be annoying for actors as well because you might be out of time with the music, or because there's just a massive sea of noise.
Yeah, out of time.
Definitely out of time.
Or when you can't hear the music.
Oh, that's stressful. Very stressful.
Yeah, and that's just annoying. If you distract an actor on stage, they're not giving you the right show.
Actually, you know what? Linking this back to Bootlegs a little bit, because, we have gone off on quite a big tangent. But, obviously, there are times when people are filming Bootlegs and then, they're filming the show and then when a big number happens, they put the camera down and they're like, woo, woo!
Yeah.
So, they're getting involved with the show while also spoiling it. It's a bit of a funny
Okay, if you're a bootlegger and you personally go to record an audio or to film a show, are you still a supporter of it? Because you're paying your ticket, but at the same time, you're causing other people not to pay for theirs.
I think... Okay, I don't know if this is like a controversial opinion or anything, but I think bootleggers are people who see themselves as superior in the theatre community because they feel it's their duty to do it. And it's not. It's just the fact that, you know, while you think you're helping, you know, other theatre fans enjoy a show that they might not be able to see, emphasis on the might not be able to see, so they could, but they might not be able to. While they think they're helping them, you know, watching a show, they are in effect, you know, sort of... It's like pirating a DVD or something. It's the exact equivalent, you know, because directors and, you know, they want you to see their film, you know, in a cinema. And in, you know, like when Avengers Endgame came out, you know, there were spoilers coming left, right, and centre, which was really annoying. I had it spoiled for me, like, I think the day I went to see it. Endgame, yeah.
Did you know that was going to happen?
Well, that's the thing. Somebody, basically, I just remember posting on Snapchat that, spoilers are going about, so don't check social media. Somebody replied to my Snap, and I didn't open it because I thought it might be a spoiler. But then the next day I woke up, opened the message, and it was the spoiler. And I was like, no. Okay, they might be lying, they might not be, but I was...
But that's always in the back of your head.
It was in the back of my head, and I was like, yeah,
I didn't have it spoiled. I was so lucky. We went at the same time, didn't we?
We did. I think we all went to see it in a massive group, but it was brilliant.
God, you didn't spoil it.
Yeah, that's the thing. In the same effect, when you go to see a musical or something, there are the scenes in between that aren't in the soundtrack. You know, like in Hamilton, they have the Lawrence interlude.
Song missing,
which isn't in the album.
Because I didn't realise he died when I just listened to the soundtrack.
So there is an element of spoilers being circulated in a bootleg. Which,
I didn't realise George Washington died as well, just by listening to the soundtrack. Or does he not?
I don't know. I don't think he does.
Because I thought he does. Because right at the end he goes, "Let me tell you what I wish I'd known." I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but that's in Who Lives. That's in the final song though.
I thought that's when he's dead.
No, he. I don't think. No, I don't think it's mentioned that he dies. It's
I might just be wrong.
I don't know.
I'll have to watch it.
Theatres have been open for ages.
Yeah.
Oh no! On the subject though. Oh, are they catching a bootlegger?
Yeah, they're catching a bootlegger. Sorry, my house was a bit noisy tonight. You might have heard my dog barking earlier.
It's all right. I did see on Instagram. It's a shame because Cameron Mackintosh Theatres posted that. What is it? All the Mackintosh productions like Les Mis,
Hamilton, until 2021.
2021.
And I think it's also Lloyd Webber Theatres now.
You reckon? That is such a shame.
I think I've read...
It's just, I mean, you know it in the back of your mind it is going to happen, but it's just hearing it, it's just like 2021.
Because Phantom's Lloyd Webber, isn't it? But it's at a Mackintosh Theatre.
I think so, yeah. I think that's the deal with it.
So I think Lloyd Webber might do the same. But, you know, there's not much we can do about it apart from support the industry.
Oh well.
As much as we can.
Oh, we have a donation from Human Visitor, $5. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We've got the brilliant One Day More gift. Thank you. We love to see it. That's been very helpful. Thank you so much.
And on that note,
right. Well, we've ended on a high, haven't we?
We have indeed. So if you missed it earlier, from now we're going bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly, twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. So same time. Well, I don't know. There's so many times.
8 o'clock
whatever
GMT,
time you watch this,
whatever time.
it will be on a Monday and a Thursday.
And on Monday we are talking about unpopular theatre opinions.
Unpopular theatre opinions.
So bring a couple to the chat. Bring some with you. We're going to bring. We're not going to show each other. Yeah, exactly. Bring friends. Bring opinions. We're just going to be talking about everything. Wow, twice a week.
Must have been you've done inspired us. You've branched us out. Thank you very much.
Instantly, we've got 2 days.
Brilliant.
But thank you very much for watching. As always, make sure you share this around. And thanks for coming back, everyone. Thanks again, Human Visitor, for the donation.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you on Monday. It's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
Bye all.
Cheerio. Bye all. Oh, thanks for the follow, Doug Baton. Sorry, we've just got another follow.
Oh, thank you very much for the follow.
Thank you very much. Okay. Cheerio, everyone. See you Monday.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.